Sara and Sam both work at Pronto. Sara is the manager and she can see every customer's full street address. When Sam opens the same exact record, the street address is gone. It's neither blurred nor redacted. It is completely invisible. That is Data 360 governance enforcing a single policy across your entire org. I am Satya, and in this episode, I'll show you how to build four types of policies: field level, record level, dynamic masking, and object level, so your sensitive data stays protected wherever it surfaces. In the previous episodes, we unified your data. Today, we are securing it using native Data 360 governance tools to control access to your sensitive information. First, we tag and classify our sensitive data across the unified profile so the system knows exactly what needs protection. Next, we define policies to establish clear access rules. Finally, Data 360 universally enforces these rules in real time, ensuring your data is always secure before it reaches any user. To see this in action at Pronto, we'll follow two users: Sara, who is the manager, who needs full visibility into every detail, and Sam, who is marketing executive, whose access is tailored to his campaigns. We'll start by looking at how to build the field level security for structured data. First, let's look at Sara's view. In this window, I'm logged into the org as Sara. She is viewing the contact point address DMO records. Notice how she can see the full street address including address line 1, city, state, province, and physical location. But our marketing executive Sam doesn't need access to the exact street address. He only deals with city and country demographics for his campaigns. I have another window open where I am logged in as Sam, and as you can see, address line 1 is completely hidden from him. This is instantly enforced by a policy we defined using Data 360 governance. Let's look under the hood to see exactly how we configured it. Let's switch over to the Data Governance tab in Data 360 to see exactly how this is configured. Before we look at the specific policy that hid the address from Sam, let's quickly break down the core building blocks you see on the left menu. Tags are the specific granular labels we apply to our data fields or objects. Each tag falls under a taxonomy. Think of these as your high-level categories or folders. For example, our data is grouped into broad buckets like financial data, healthcare data, or personal data. You can also see each tag is associated with a set of classifications. This is where compliance comes in. We map our tags to regulatory frameworks easily, identifying them as GDPR, HIPAA, or PIA, personal identification information. This tells the system exactly why the data is sensitive. These tags are provided out of the box and can be considered standard tags. Most of your sensitive data can be labeled with these, but you can also define your own custom tags by clicking the New button. Before we build the policy, we need to ensure the system knows which field to protect. You can do that using the Tag Manager. Let's click it to attach a tag to our target field. First, we'll select Data Model Objects. We can leave the default namespace, search for address, and select our Unified Individual Contact Point Address object. Now we just click Attach Tags, search for the specific tag we need, in this case personal data.location.street address. Select the field address line 1 and hit save. Instantly you can see that the tag is now securely attached to address line 1. Also note, you can attach tags directly from the data model object page using this exact same interface. Let's click Done to return to the Data Governance tab. Next, if we click into the Classifications tab on the left menu, you can check the complete list of classifications. Similarly, under the Taxonomies tab, you can review your current list of high-level categories or quickly create new ones to organize your tags and track their usage across various policies. Finally, we click into the Policies tab. Policies are the actual access and masking rules we build on top of these tags to enforce exactly who can see what. Now let's see how we set up the policy for securing address line 1 on the Unified Individual Contact Point Address DMO. To start, we'll click the New button. Here the system gives us a choice. We can either create a policy to dynamically mask the data, or we can control the data access itself. Since our goal here is to completely restrict Sam's access to the street address field, let's select Data Access and click Next. This loads the policy builder, where we'll provide a clear name and description for our policy and then click Next. Now we define the actual rule. For the resource, we'll select Field, and for the action, we want to deny access. Next, we configure exactly when this denial should take place. For the variable, let's select Tag, choose Ease In, and then select the exact tag we just attached to address line 1, that is personal data.location.street address. With the rule defined, deny access to any field with this tag, we now need to configure who this rule should apply to. Next, we'll click the people icon on the left side of the builder. Here, we want to select all users who meet all conditions. For the variable, we'll choose assign permission, set the operator to is not in, and select a permission set I've already created for this demo called Pronto All Data Access. Save it. In plain English, what this means is that any user who does not have this specific permission set, like our marketing executive Sam, will automatically be denied access to the tag street address field. As a quick aside, let me show you exactly how I configured that permission set. First, I created a custom permission and simply gave it a label. Later, when you define the policy rules, those will automatically be reflected in the policy rule definitions section at the bottom. Next, I created a new permission set called Pronto All Data Access and simply added that custom permission to it. By doing this, you can easily assign this permission set to any user who needs full visibility into this protected field. In our scenario, I've assigned it directly to our manager Sara, which is exactly why she can see the full address while Sam cannot. That covers field level security. But what if you want to hide the entire row? That's where the record level security policy comes in. Now let's go back to Sara's window and examine the contact point address DMO records again. If you focus on the state province column, you'll notice she can access records from all regions including Texas. Let's switch over to Sam's view. As you can see, Sam cannot access any of the Texas records because the territory is not assigned to him for marketing campaigns. Let's look under the hood to see exactly how we define this policy at the record level. I've already created this policy, so let's open it up and see how it's configured. You'll notice we are using the exact same policy builder tool, just with a slight change in the setup. This time, I selected record as the resource instead of field. The system then prompted me to select an object, so I chose our Unified Individual Contact Point Address. From there, I simply applied a condition where the state province field value is equal to Texas. As I mentioned earlier, we used metadata tags for field and object level security. But for record level security, like this, we are filtering based on the actual data values inside the rows. Finally, if we click the people icon on the left, you'll see that the logic for who this affects is exactly the same as our previous policy, restricting access for users who don't have the assigned permission set. While Sam needs customer demographic information for his campaigns, we need to restrict his view to look at the complete member number to protect the PII. Let's see how to do it using dynamic data masking. I'm back in Sam's window looking at the unified individual data. If you look closely at the member number field, you'll notice that Sam can only see the last two digits. The rest of the string is completely masked. Let's look at how we define this policy for data masking. To build this, I clicked New but selected Dynamic Data Masking this time. Looking at the rule configuration, I set the resource to a field in structured data and the action to mask. From there, the system gives us 4 different options for how to handle the data. We can do a standard redaction where characters are replaced with X. We can replace the data entirely with a null value, or we can even round off date, time, or numeric values. For the specific member number, I chose redaction, and as you can see, I was able to easily configure the exact position and number of characters to hide, which is how we left just those last 2 digits visible for Sam. Now let's shift gears and look at our unstructured data. We are going to see how object level policy actually governs AI interactions. I'm back in Sara's window. Let's open up the chart and ask the agent what is the credit policy. And just like we expect, Sara immediately gets the complete detailed policy response because she has the right permissions. Now let's switch over to Sam's window and ask the agent the exact same question. Notice the difference. The agent immediately denies him access as the credit policy is a confidential document. Let's look at how we implemented this rule to protect our unstructured data. Looking at the policy builder, you'll notice the setup looks very familiar. The only difference this time is that we selected object as the resource and we are driving the restriction using the financial data dot account info tag. But the real magic is where we applied this tag. Instead of tagging a standard database column, we attached it directly to the unstructured chunk DMO at the object level. Let's open up the tag manager and look at the chunk object. Right here, you can clearly see that the tag is securely attached to the entire object, which is exactly how we ensured the AI agent knows this document is off limits for Sam. In the next episode, we'll trigger automated Sales Cloud flows when the customer's predictive score changes in Data 360 so that your sales teams will act on signals and not schedules. If you like this video, please hit like button and subscribe for more updates on Salesforce Developers YouTube channel. See you in next video.